On NDTV, in the last 18 hours, we have brought you the top voices that matter, be it the Prime Minister of Israel, be it the former Prime Minister of Israel or the Foreign Minister. We're now going to get you their voices for the next 15 minutes on the channel. Let's start with Netanyahu. While we tell you that the Middle East war is escalating rapidly, Iran has intensified its attacks with strikes reported in different areas of Israel. In response, Israel says it will not back down. US President Donald Trump claimed that Iran wants to surrender amid growing military pressure. Now, while visiting an attack site, Israeli Prime Minister exclusively spoke to NDTV and hailed Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, calling Modi a great friend. Netanyahu thanked India for its support. On the ground, the Israeli Defense Forces say they have struck over 70 Hezbollah facilities targeting infrastructure and launchers in southern Lebanon. Iran has also reportedly launched a new super heavy missile and fired at US bases, marking a dangerous new phase in the conflict. But first, let's bring to you that exclusive conversation between my colleague Aditya Rajkol and Netanyahu.
Can you say a word?
Yes, I spoke.
How was the meeting, sir?
I spoke to our great friend, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Spoke to him at length yesterday. Thanked him for his standing with Israel, standing for the truth, and for the enormous friendship of the people of India. They are much admired and loved in Israel. And I won't get into the details of the conversation, but I've spoken to him and I've spoken to many other leaders in the region and beyond. Thank you.
Also in an exclusive conversation again with my colleague Aditya Rajkol, Israeli Foreign Minister has said that Iran was wasting time not meeting deadlines on US restrictions over its nuclear and ballistic missile programs. Here's that exclusive.
Just 2 days after the Israeli and the American joint strikes inside of Iran, where Khamenei was in fact neutralized. The supreme leader is no more amongst us in Iran. There are more than 40 commanders of the IRGC who have been eliminated as well. The airstrikes continue even as I speak. While I was coming inside the foreign ministry of Israel, there were missiles that were thrown inside Jerusalem that were neutralized by the Israeli defense mechanism. But here on a World Exclusive, joining us live for the first time after the conflict broke out in the last 2 days is Gideon Sa'ar, the Foreign Minister of Israel. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening.
It's a very critical time, but the first question that comes to the mind of each and every person here who's been observing is that what was the need to get into a conflict or a war at a time when negotiations were underway? We saw talks in Geneva take place, and there was a commitment made that technical negotiations and agreements will in fact take place in Vienna, Austria. But what was the urgency to go in and eliminate Khamenei?
But those who conduct the negotiations, the Americans themselves, came into conclusion that Iran, as usual, is wasting time, not meeting the American red lines with regard to the nuclear program, Iranian nuclear program, not meeting the American red lines with regard to the ballistic missiles program. So altogether, we knew that within a very short time, Iran is going to put all its nuclear program in a very deep underground installation where not Israel and not America can hit effectively from the air. They plan to do the same thing with ballistic missiles production. So that would put them in, I would say, immunity place, and they can do whatever they want to do. You can see only from the last days how much this regime is dangerous. They are hitting not only us, our civilian population, but also Arab countries in the region without any provocation. So this is an extremely dangerous regime for their own people, as we saw in the way they butchered their own people during the last protest, to all countries in the region. And of course, for us, it's an existential threat. And therefore, since we thought time is of essence from the reasons I just mentioned, and also time is of essence taking into consideration the expectations of the Iranian people that fought bravely for the freedom, but reasonably cannot achieve it without any help from outside.
Minister,
So this is why we decided with our American friends that we must act. There are, of course, complications that might happen, but it's more dangerous not to act rather than to act in this situation.
Fair enough. I'll come to what is happening now and what's been happening over the last 3 days. But first, you had Oman acting as a mediator between US and Iran. There were talks that were happening. The Oman foreign minister was on record to say that perhaps in the next 90 days there was some kind of an outcome that could happen on a peace agreement. There were technical details that could be discussed. And now the foreign minister of Oman said that he's dismayed. He's thinking that there was a talks process underway. There was a step-by-step process that could have led to perhaps some kind of an agreement. But now Oman says that whatever commitment was there has been violated. How do you respond to that?
I don't think I have to respond to that because we were not a side or a part to the negotiations. The Americans handled it. And it is true that, as always, President Trump preferred to reach an agreed solution to this thing. But as it happened on June, he found out eventually that they can waste time forever, but they will not reach to a good agreement. And the bad agreement is something that Americans didn't want to achieve.
A regime change from outside is either rare or impossible, is what Israel's opposition leader Yair Lapid told NDTV in an exclusive conversation with NDTV's managing editor Shiva Roor. Here's that exclusive conversation.
Yair Lapid, he is the leader of the opposition in Israel. He is live with me tonight from Tel Aviv. Mr. Lapid, thank you for your time. It is a difficult period for your country, for the region, for Iran, for innocent people in all of these places that stand affected. And I know there have been casualties in your country as well. As day 3 comes to an end since this operation began, what's going through your mind? What are your thoughts today, Mr. Lapid? I'd like to begin with that.
Well, the first thought was that you said 3 days, and I thought to myself, it looks like 3 months because of the scale of the events. I just came back here, before talking to you, I came back from the city of Bet Shemesh, in which I visited the site of a missile fall that killed 9 people, among them 3 children from the same family. So what's going through my mind, I'm thinking about the mother and the father of those 3 children. Israel, like India, is a country in which family ties are the most important thing, is the core of the culture. And for us, it's devastating. But we understand that we're fighting a just war. It doesn't happen often, that in 21st century, there's a moral clarity the way there is now. It is a just war against a horrible regime that is not only a danger to Israel and to the entire global community, but also to its own people. Just last month in January, we saw the young people of Iran taking to the streets trying to fight this very oppressing regime. So it is the right war, it is a just war, but it doesn't make it any easier on